thank everyone who's here today to hear my, not only my speaking debut at VTC, but a YouTube debut as well. I'm like, whoa. So now that I have you all curious, isn't that a great word? I love the word curious. It's got this whimsical, mystical thing, or mystery thing about it, right? Little whimsy and a little mystery. So, and I'm going to share what has turned for me now to be a whimsical story. It wasn't in the beginning. It's just a short story about some incidents in my life. And why I got curious about it and what resulted from that curiosity. So I know that there's other people in the community who drive a lot. I'm a driver. I drive most of the time. The odd time I take the bus, but most of the time I drive my car. And anyone who drives in this area, actually it isn't even this area, it's most places nowadays. There's traffic congestion, there's road closures, detours, road construction, building construction. It almost seems impossible sometimes to get where you want to go. And I was thinking about this as I was writing this talk. It's probably similar in some areas, particularly in Victoria, for people who bike regularly. From some of my observations now and again, it can be a challenge for those people too. So maybe just getting around is a challenge. But what was happening for me is it seemed like every time I went out to go do an errand, go for an appointment or whatever, there was some kind of obstruction due to one of these things. Road closures, construction, whatever. And I was also noticing a lot of angst about it, not only specifically for myself, but the people around me. Anger, and sometimes in parking lots there were situations where I wasn't involved in them, but I observed them where there were angry words exchanged and things like this. And there just seemed to be a lot of this at this particular time. Actually, it was earlier in the summer in my life. And so one day after experiencing this, I came home and I was sitting eating my lunch, and I got to thinking about how I was feeling. I was feeling rather anxious and a little bit angry, and I thought, I don't like feeling this way. What's this about for me? I really, this isn't who I see myself as. I don't like putting that kind of energy out into our universe. So I got thinking about it, and I thought, okay, so there's some anger here. There's an underlying flow of anger. So I could take this as a victim situation very easily, but I didn't really believe that that's what was happening here. I guess I've just kind of been in New Thought too long, and I realized that I create my reality. So if this is what I'm experiencing, this is what seems to be coming into my life more and more, then there's something that I need to look at for myself and something that I can change about myself and create a different reality for me. So I decided to get curious, and I did some self-inquiry. So I sat there, eating my lunch, and I just sat with it for a while. I just sat in silence and just kind of let things flow. And so a word came up for me, and the first word that came up was anger. So I thought, okay, there's some anger here. But why am I angry? I know I can't control any of these situations. That's how it is. That's what it's going to be like. So why should I be angry about it? Oh. So I went back into that curious place, and the next word that came up for me was the word control. And I'm like, oh, control. Okay, all right. And I'm a very organized person. I plan everything. I go out to do errands. I'm going to do 2 or 3 things. I've got my path organized, my plan organized. This is how it's going to go, This is how I am. Okay, that's controlling a little bit, isn't it? Because then I get in this traffic situation and I can't control that. I have to go with the flow, so to speak, and do whatever I have to do to get where I need to be in the right amount of time. So I'm thinking, okay, that goes together. There's anger, need to control. They kind of go together. Okay, those are mine. I'll own them. But I still know that there's something else there. I'm not feeling that this is complete yet for me. So I sit for a little bit longer with it. And the next word that comes up is the big one. And it's the word change. And I'm like, oh, change. Now, isn't change just a huge part of our lives right now? Huh? There's change in our personal lives, our relationships, our workplaces, our neighborhoods, our communities, our politics, our economics, our government, our spiritual growth. Change is everywhere. And there's two things that I know about change, and you probably do too. And the first one is change, and it's the only thing that's consistent in life. Change and life go together. We all walked in that door at 10 o'clock or whatever time. We're a different person now. That's how the change works. So that's just really when we talk about acceptance. Change is part of that acceptance. But the other thing that I know about change is it's a gift. It's a real gift. Because that's a place where we can be creative. That's where we can create something different. Usually with change, there's some chaos. And at the center of the chaos, like at the center of the hurricane, the eye of the storm, the center of that chaos, that's where the peace is. That's where the acceptance is. That's where we create. We're creative beings, and we create our reality. And tuning in to that acceptance of the change and the chaos and being creative. So I'm feeling a lot better about all of this now. I feel I have some control, right? I can control how I react to this now. So I go back over this in my reflection, in my inquiry, and I look at all of this, and I think, okay, so I moved from anger, letting go of that, to need to control, letting go of that, to my irresisting change, letting go of that. And I came to a place of release, of release and acceptance that this is how it is, this is how it's going to be for me, and I can accept it. And in that acceptance, I move through that door into the peace, into a peaceful place. And that's what I can create. I can create the peace for myself, the peace that I deserve to have. So now, when I go out on these things, and this, I just became aware of this one day quite subtly when I was sitting waiting for a road crew or something, how relaxed and peaceful I was. And I find that I can focus on whatever's on my radio, look at some trees and imagine how I might draw those trees, look at a flower bed and take a picture and think of how I could create a collage from that. All kinds of creative things pop up for me, just opening up to this. So I have a little side story here that's kind of funny, and so I have to share it with you because I'd forgotten about it, and it came up yesterday when I was talking to some people. But at one point, I was kind of so frustrated with this, I was sitting in my car thinking, where can I move to where they won't be doing construction? And they won't be doing condos. Where can I go? And I said to myself, I know where I can go. I can go to Cape Dorset. Do you know where Cape Dorset is? And the Baffin Islands up north of the Hudson Bay? It's way up there. It's Inuit country. However, Cape Dorset has a fabulous art community. They have more artists in Cape Dorset per capita than anywhere else in Canada. It's a great community for that, but there's no road construction, there's no condo building. It's cold, but maybe that's the trade-off. So I thought that was kind of funny. So I get teased about that from a couple of people now. Cathy, when are you going to Cape Dorset? But anyhow, I can encourage encourage you to be curious about things in your life, challenges when they come up. And maybe sit with them and do some inquiry and see what's there for you. And it's important to keep a sense of humor about it, because sometimes this work can be a little bit challenging and might take you off balance a bit. And do it with loving kindness for yourself and self-acceptance. And just remember that a sense of humor always creates a whole different atmosphere around things. And that life is sacred, it's not serious. Thank you.